Please welcome to the stage your combat for the evening, Jack Maidment!
Good evening, County! Are we good? Great. Welcome to the first County Comedy Club of 2015. Can we get a cheer? Awesome. So give me a cheer if you've been to one of these things before. Give us a cheer if you haven't. Great, okay. So first time is this is our fortnightly stand-up show. We do one of these every 2 weeks. And so thank you for coming out. Sorry about the delay. I know most of you probably have lives. We don't. We just do this. But you are entitled to a full refund. You didn't pay anything, did you? Well, you can punch me in the face after if you want. Cheers, Dave. Okay, so I want to talk about Christmas. Christmas happened. Everyone have a good Christmas? Who didn't have a good Christmas? No one. All right. So sort of like a mediocre Christmas. I'm sort of feeling in the room. Okay. Well, I want to know what happened at your Christmases. So you, sir, what's your name? Scott. You have to think about that, Scott. Are you sure? Can somebody confirm this man is Scott?
Yeah, he's called Scott.
Oh, he's called Scott. Thank you. You dodged a bullet there, Scott. How was your Christmas?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good. What was your favourite thing about this Christmas? So how much did you sleep in? Like too much. So we're talking like 2 hours of a wake time. Did you get anything done this Christmas? It's got the turkeys ready. So that is the Christmas I one day want to have. Unfortunately, when you've got two younger hyperactive nephews, it's kind of hard to get a sleep in. So you sir, what's your name?
Dave.
Dave, hello person I definitely don't know for Dave. How was your Christmas?
Pretty good, buddy.
Pretty good, buddy. Nice to hear. So, what was your favourite thing about Christmas?
Ignoring my family.
Ignore it, can we get an O for Dave, please?
No, I did it on purpose.
He did it on purpose. I know, he's a very cynical and cold man to sum up Dave. Why are you ignoring your family, Dave? Surely they love you. Did they not show you the love, Dave?
Oh, they're just irritating.
They're just irritating. I know families get irritating, but ignoring them, come on. Did you not sing Christmas carols around the Christmas tree?
Do you?
No. I used to, but I'm awful. So they sacked me from the family. Okay, I'm going to come over here. You, madam, what's your name? Megan. Hi, Megan. What was your favourite thing about Christmas? Just going home. So basically everybody's sick of the sight of this fucking place. Like, fuck it, we're going home. Get on my home parade, we're going home. Alright. So what did you do over Christmas though, like specifically? Family, friends. Standard Christmas shindig really, isn't it? You know, family and friends. Well, unless you're Dave. Then it's just, did you ignore your friends as well, Dave? Or did you give them at least some of your attention?
Well, they found me then.
They found you. Have you been trying to get off the grid?
Yeah.
Have you? It's not worked very well, has it?
No.
I mean, you're here.
Everybody should be turned up.
And everybody now knows your name, so good job, Dave. Okay, so I want to talk about like what Christmas is actually about, presents. So soulless capitalism is what I'm going for. So you said, what's your name? Person I don't know. Stephen. So what was your favourite Christmas present?
A ukulele.
A ukulele. Wow. How are your ukulele skills?
I can't play the ukulele.
So, alright, I'm trying to work out the logic here. You can't play are you learning to play the ukulele?
Apparently.
Apparently. Somebody just, Stephen, here, this is what I want from you. Do not disappoint.
Yes.
Otherwise Christmas is cancelled.
Yeah, that happened.
See, that happened. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So anyway, I had a really lovely Christmas this year actually. I went home. Hang on.
I'm here all night.
That guy, everyone. Wow. I had a lovely Christmas, and but something weird happened when we were having a Christmas dinner. We took me into our Christmas dinner in my parents' conservatory, and then about 5-6 o'clock, the power goes out. Boom! Total darkness. So we kind of had to sort of like eat around the candlelight. Sort of like a nice, Dickens novel. But, well, there was no 3 ghosts, but there was I have 3 grandparents. So you could say 3 almost ghosts. I don't know, all from the same time, funnily enough. But that was, funnily enough, that's not the best thing. My nephew, my 7-year-old nephew, was sitting in the living room watching television, and then suddenly the 7-year-old is plunged into darkness, and everything's dark. He didn't have any lights, so he comes running into the conservatory, screaming, "Mummy, mummy!" Tears running down his face, grasping for his mum because he doesn't know what's going on, and made my Christmas. And it didn't help that I told him it was the end of days. So, well, if you think Father Christmas has got a naughty, let's check out this guy's. Woo. Not good, not good. Anyway, are we feeling pumped? Did I just say that too loud, or did you do it? Alright, I'm gonna have to watch that. Alright, awesome. Well, I'm gonna need a special chair to introduce my first act. Oh, by the way, first of all, we've got a few ground rules here. First of all, don't talk to the acts unless they talk to you, because it's kind of distracting and it just kills the show down. Second rule is if you need to go to the toilet, make sure you watch the camera, because it's actually mine, so if you break it, I won't be happy. And thirdly, if you obviously you've got mobile phones, this is I was about to say 90s then, Jesus. So yeah, if you could switch your phones onto silent or turn them off if you haven't done already, thank you. Yeah, because if it does go off during the show, I will answer it, and I will tell the person on the other end about this morning's bowel movements. So, okay, so I'm going to need a cheerleader. So I'm going to get Scott. Okay. So what I'm going to do... Scott, you're involved now, mate. There is no escape from this, I'm afraid. So what I want to do is I want to recreate sort of the excitement of New Year's Eve. Did everyone have a good New Year's Eve, by the way? Yeah. Great. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You, Scott, are going to jump up and go, "Happy New Year!" And then the energy is going to spread out around the room, and we're going to applaud, and I welcome on my first act. So, we got that? Okay, ready? Countdown to midnight. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dearden!
Oh. I've never really been a fan of darts. I never really got it. I mean, it's just 2 middle-aged men taking it in turns to throw tiny little dwarf arrows at a board. It just didn't seem like something that would be even, the slightest bit interesting. Sad and endless. Kind of like watching an animal die. Boy, was I wrong. I recently watched the grand finals of the Darts World Championships, in which Phil the Power Taylor took on Gary the Flying Scotsman Anderson in a clash of darts-throwing titans. I won't spoil how it ends, because boy, was that some excellent darts. My favourite thing about darts are the player names. Each player has this amazing middle name. I've already mentioned Phil the Power Taylor. He's got a great middle name, the kind that people can respect. And to be quite honest, it makes my name, Edward John Dearden, seem a bit shit. I wish my parents had had the foresight to give me a better middle name. I mean, some of these players just have perfect middle names, borderline prophetic. There's this one player called Wayne Mr. Darts Cranston. That's a lot of pressure to put on a child given them that name. It's like calling your child James Fireman Jones, or Jesse UN Secretary General Thompson. I mean, what if Jessie becomes a down-on-the-luck waitress with barely 2 coins to rub together? With a middle name like UN Secretary General, people are going to know that she's a disappointment to her family. So, I know what you're thinking, that these aren't actually their real middle names. You think they chose these names? How do you think Tom the Bono Grevink got his name? By dodging taxes and pretend to care about Africa? No! Who do you think these people are? They're not satirical geniuses, they're darts players! Anyway, moving on. I love to party. I love all kinds of parties. Birthday parties, S-club parties, swingers parties. In particular, I love fancy dress parties. But there's one thing I often struggle with. I try not to be a dick, I really do, but sometimes I can be a bit of an arsehole. But people don't understand how much effort I put into that rectum costume. They said it was disgusting. Apparently, rule 101 of costume design is don't smear it with actual human excrement. I've been doing some research into rectums the other day, you know, like you do. And I was interested to find out about a certain type, the inverted pork rectum. It's basically a pig's arse turned inside out and it's used to make dumplings. So naturally, after learning this, I tracked down the supplier. I wanted a taste of the action. But I went on their website and they sold all sorts. Pig rectum, pig spleen, pig uteri. Frankly, I was disgusted. Their prices were extortionate. I'm not going to pay through the arse for an inside-out pig's arse. At McDonald's they do it for £1, and it comes with chips and a drink. Anyway, moving on. As the proud owner of a biology GCSE, I can tell you empirically that the closest related thing to the rectum is in fact the eye. Now, my eyes aren't very good, as you can probably tell from the glasses. I recently got a new pair, and I noticed something strange about them. There's this strange text. There's a strange text just on the inside, just on the outside of the frame there. I mean, who's that for? I mean, it sure as hell isn't for me. I can't read it. I'm not wearing my glasses. Who else wants to read that? It's not like those slogans on t-shirts. People aren't going to come up to me on the street. Oh, excuse me, can I just read your glasses? Oh, it says, I'm with stupid. Very good, very good. No. The meaning of fucking life can be written inside my glasses, for all I know. I mean, the cure for polio could be written right here, and nobody would know anything different. I mean, it's as if the scientists at Specsavers thought of a cure and just didn't know what to do with it. Put it on the glasses. But sir, this cure could improve literally tens of lives. We're called Specsavers, not lifesavers. Put it on the damn glasses. No, that's ridiculous. I've come up with the real reason. It's so that you buy a second pair of glasses just to read the first pair. But I'm not caught out by such cons. Not me. It says, ha ha ha. Got you, prick. So you bought the second pair, did you? Fucking moron. Fuck you, Specsavers. I'm onto you. I don't actually mind wearing glasses. They're far from the worst of the face-mounted accessories. But I mean, I'd rather have an eye patch. I mean, there's so many cool things about eye patches. You can pretend to be a pirate. If you get a parrot, you can pretend to be an even better pirate. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But there is one major downside, and that's a lack of depth perception. I don't think many people fully appreciate how good depth perception is. For example, as someone without depth perception, you would find it very difficult to enjoy a good pantomime. She's behind you, or in front of you, or literally 5 miles in the distance. Speaking of pantomimes, let's talk about everybody's favourite pantomime villain, Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un, Kimmy J to friends. He's actually quite an impressive character in lots of ways. He's the world's youngest head of state. He's the second most famous person called Kim. He's also the supreme leader of a country that, judging by the flag, appears to be sponsored by Texaco. He's also done lots of things that some people would consider aggressive / morally reprehensible. He's also quite childish though, like the other day when he allegedly hacked Sony for being mean to him in a film. I think we could use this trait to our favour for the good of the world. We can manipulate North Korea to improve the human race. Next time they do a show of force or a nuclear test, our response shouldn't be to condemn them. We should just say, meh. Not quite the cure for polio though, is it? I mean, this way we can get North Korea to do nice things. I mean, once they've cured polio, just act dead casual about it. I mean, it's okay, but you've not exactly ended the world hunger crisis, have you? This will continue for years to come, and in the future, North Korea will be remembered as the country that accidentally solved all of the world's problems. For me, solving the world's problems isn't just a hobby. It's a career choice. Thank you very much, Open.
One more time for Mr. Ed Dearden, everybody. Okay, so some news. I think the microphone is no more. So let's have a moment's silence. Okay. You know what? We're going to do this a cappella style. Can you hear me at the back? Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's why I'm not limited by the cable, so I can talk to everyone now. Like, none of you are safe now from the compare. But anyway, so it's a new year, time for fresh starts, and what's the most common fresh starts? A New Year's resolution. So I want to know if you've got any New Year's resolutions or just any goals for life, or for 2015 specifically, you know. So I'm going to come down here. I'm sorry, man, I know you were trying to take a picture there. You said, what's your name?
Okay.
Jake, nice to meet you, Jake. So have you got any New Year's resolutions?
Try harder next year.
Try harder next year. So is that, so you're determining resolutions for, oh right, it's an interesting technique. I've never seen that done before. How's it working out for you? Thank you. You sir, what's your name?
Alex.
Alex, nice to meet you. So have you got any New Year's resolutions or any plans for 2015?
Yeah, I'm going to get buff.
You're going to get buff? Okay, so I'm guessing you're going to be hitting the gym?
No.
No. Right, so how exactly are you going to get buff? I'm interested now, I'm intrigued.
I'll do this next year. You're going to figure it out this year.
Alright, so you're going to figure out, so your New Year's resolution is to figure out, I see a lot of planning involved in these resolutions. Like not this year, is that what it takes? You need a whole year in advance to implicate these things. That's what. Oh, by the way, you guys can sit there if you want. Or if you're good there, just tell me to fuck off. Thank you. You actually came in before, so I want to know. What's your name, sir?
I'm Mike.
Mike, nice to meet you, Mike. I'm Jack. So have you got any New Year's resolutions or any plans? You're just perfect? Yeah. So we have Mike the narcissist. Yeah, I'm going to come over here this side. Hi, madam, what's your name? Harriet, nice to meet you. Have you got any New Year's resolutions? Yeah, well... for those who can't see, she just took a drink of beer. So, I would ask you how it's going, but it kind of would be redundant. It's going really well. So is that non-alcoholic alcohol then? Awesome. See, I was going to give up drinking, but then I realised I really like drinking. So didn't. But the funny thing is, actually, I did have a New Year's resolution this year. I was going to quit smoking. And I did quit smoking. And I quit smoking for 2 days. 2 days my New Year's resolution was 48 hours. See, what happened was, I thought I was dead proud of myself. I was doing very well, and I was trying to get over the 3-day hump. Apparently, when you give up something, the hardest part of giving up is the first 3 days. So I thought, if I can get that, I can do anything, really. So I got 2 days in, and then I was talking to myself, as I often do. And basically they said, myself said to me, this just took a very weird turn, I apologise. I said to myself, I said, Jack, you're doing so well. You're doing really well, I'm proud of you. You deserve a treat. What's that thing you used to do at multiple intervals during the day to relieve stress? Some might call it an addiction. That's right, have a cigarette. And I did. I sort of got one out. And now I'm back on the nicotine trains. Oh, that's good. 2 days, no cigarettes, this is good. But you know what this is? A Mars bar for the lungs, I'm telling you. They should write that on the packets rather than smoking kills or anything. Sell a lot more, I reckon. It says on the bar, sorry, this is bad. It says smoking causes aging of the skin. Do you know what aging of the skin causes? You know what it's caused by? Aging. It's going to happen anyway. I think they need a more effective campaign. But anyway, yeah, I was smoking a cigarette and thought to myself, shit, my ear's ruined. So that's my 2015, guys. Hopefully yours will turn out better. Anyway, who's ready for my next act? Awesome, awesome. Well, I've got some sort of props. And we're going to do that thing again. We're going to recreate the spirit of New Year's Eve. But this time with miniature explosives. So you can tell your family I went to see County Comedy Club and I detonated a small bomb. Okay, so Stephen, there's one for you. We'll have a few people this time. You sir, what's your name?
Chris.
You want to be one of my cheerleaders, Chris? Awesome. Not a question I ask often. And Dave. There you go, Dave. Look at him looking at me like that.
They can't. I'm facing the front.
Yeah, so Dave Duncan, everybody. So basically I'm going to do the same thing. Again, some people joined in. I think it'd be good if we could all do it. So we're counting down to midnight. Ready? These 3 people are going to stand up and blow up their explosives, and I'm going to introduce my next act. So, you all ready? Thank you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Okay, so this thing is a huge part of your identity as a stand-up, so I feel kind of lost up here. Although, I'm still going to hold it, because Rihanna's taking photos of this. So when you watch this back on Facebook, nothing will be wrong. I also can't help noticing that you guys have fuckloads of crisps. And since this isn't working, other than like my voice, that's going to be the loudest thing in the room. Anywho, how are we? Are we good to be back? Are we enjoying ourselves? Yeah, kind of. Did we enjoy Christmas? Get a cheer for Christmas? Cheer for New Year's? I would ask you how your New Year's was, but I would literally get one of 2 responses. Oh, went out. Oh, stayed in. Like, they're the 2 categories. The thing about New Year's is that the novelty wears off really quickly. Although New Year's Day is pretty cool, because there's stuff you get to say then that you don't get to say at any other time of year. Like, take for example, I was pretty ill on New Year's Eve, so I wasn't really eating anything, but at midnight, I did decide to have a couple of whiskies. So throughout all of New Year's Day, I got to say, oh God, I'm pretty hungry, I've only had some whiskey this year. And that was cool until I realised how sad that is! How fundamentally sad that is! I started eating really badly too. I've started to think that I can just do that thing where I eat one big meal and that's basically me done for the day. Like, oh yeah, I'll just eat a big pile of food, yeah, and that's me basically sorted. I don't eat. I feel regular meals are overrated. Hopefully, both of those cheery anecdotes should be a sign that it isn't going that well. It is not going that well at all. Like, I know many of you are interested in my life. Most of you here, probably about, I don't know, 2 to 3% interested. And then, of course, those of you who know me very well, about 6 to 7% interested. I think my parents were a solid 10, so that's something. I mean, I've started staying up really late. So like, it reaches 3 o'clock, and like the little man appears in the corner of the telly, telling me to go to bed. Or at the very least, I think that's what he's telling me. I cannot sign. Why is deaf programming on so late at night? Because like, deaf people have jobs. Like, they're not going to stay up till 3 in the morning to watch a documentary about the Incas that no one watched anyway. Like, how lazy is TV getting? Alan, everyone's very tired at the BBC. I feel I should point that out now. Alan, what should we put on at 3 o'clock on BBC 4? Well, I've got it. You know that documentary about the Incas that's on at 8? Yeah? We'll just do that. Signed. Right. Who are we appealing to there? Deaf, middle-aged, unemployed, divorced dads. Cool. So we've sorted that niche. I bought a sandwich from Boots the other day. Now, that doesn't seem instantly that bad, but why do Boots sell food? Like, you can buy ointments there that you rub all over your body, and you can buy contraceptives. That's just to name two of the wonderful products available at Boots. Yeah, we're sponsored by Boots tonight. But like, once you bought that stuff, you don't think to yourself, God, I'm hungry. God, I would love a cheese and pickle sandwich. No, 3, because then if I eat 3, I'm done for the day. I just need to eat that. Yeah, a big pile of pickle too. Can I have some pickle? That's all I want. I want contraceptives, ball cream and pickle. Yeah, that'll do me. We just had Christmas, obviously, and like my parents used to get me gifts, which were just lovely things that they decided to get me. Whereas now they're just nudges, that they're all a sign of something that I have not yet done. So like this year they got me driving lessons, but it was weird because firstly they'd been telling me I need to learn how to drive for 3 years. They also hadn't paid for them. They expected me to pay for my driving lessons. It was just a card saying some driving lessons. I'm not lying now. I didn't write this. This happened to me. It kind of explains a lot though. It's like a couple of years ago, my mum bought me like this really tiny blue outfit. It was like 10 centimeters long. And I thought to myself, I can't fit into that. Like, I'm not going to wear that out. I mean, is it a hat? Then she got like me a rattle. And she was trying to make me regress. And it was this year I finally realised, when she got me a card saying, I want a fucking grandchild. Socks would have done. I'm very low on socks. Do any of you ever do that thing where you concentrate everything you feel, not necessarily all the bad stuff, but just everything you feel into like a powerful shriek? Yeah, you do! We're all on this, it just builds up, yeah, so, whenever you like go into a room, wake up, just scrunch your face into a pillow, you just think to yourself, do you ever do that? Just have a long phone conversation with your mother and think to, do you ever do that? Just get a grade back and, I didn't do very well, God, the course mate, yeah, we all do that. Oh, it's New Year's Eve again, another year gone, I'm only getting older, Oh, I had a long phone conversation with my mother and, I was saying that, I might want to try and make a go, it's something I enjoy, it's something I get a lot of enjoyment out of. And she said to me, oh, you don't want to do comedy. Well, I don't know, it's just a plan, I might do like something else. But you're so clever! Like, I don't want to insult anyone else who's performing tonight, but what link is she? What link is she? What link is she making there? Like, I can do stuff. I'm good. There's a documentary on about the Incas in about 5 hours, which I really need to get home for, so thanks.
Yeah, Tom, tell your mum, it's fine, not taken. Anyway, that was our first half. What do we think of our acts? Another round of applause for them. You guys have been fantastic. We're going to take a 10-15 minute break, so go and do whatever. But before you do, I've got a task for you. Some books here, there will be paper and pens. What I want you to do is want you to write maybe a goal or a resolution, or something you're looking forward to in 2015. It can be as weird, as wacky, or as mundane as you want. Just put it in the cups and they will play a pivotal role in the second half. So thank you very much. 10-15 minutes, meet back here. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the stage your compere, Jack Maidment!
Thank you. So, we've sacked for the second half. Awesome. And we've got the mic back, which is lovely. It's like a dear old friend has come back to reunite us all. Okay, so let's see what your sick depraved minds have come up with. So these are suggestions / goals for 2015. Get a dog. Bad idea. Raise it like my own child, and on his 18th birthday, tell him he's adopted. There's a fundamental flaw in that plan. It's a dog. Yeah. So unless it's Clifford, you might have a problem. Okay, so the next one. Put a banana in my ear. Not too clear what that will achieve, but hey, who am I to judge? You know, that somebody's going to have a very interesting 2015 then. You know. So, like, always in the air or just occasionally throughout the day? And does anybody want to own up for writing it? No, that's just not. Learn to fight in test tube formation with a legion of orphan squirrels. Yeah. A legion of orphan squirrels. That's going to be my mantra from now on. Cinnamon stick! Be the coolest dude. Great. Do shit / stuff. I mean, if your 2015 resolution is to do shit, I highly recommend it. If that has to be a New Year's resolution, I'd see a doctor maybe. We had to fold it up tiny, so now I have to. It makes more work for me. I'm not happy. Go to gym more often and lose weight. Sensible. The only sensible one we've had. Okay, so we'll go for a few more and then I'll introduce my next act of the evening. Okay. Find love. Maybe a compare? Question mark. Well. Bad idea. I will invent time travel and then go back to destroy the Gregorian calendar. That would cause infinite problems. Maybe you could make your own calendar, whoever you are. Calendar man / woman / talking dog. No. Not reading that. Try harder, Jack. Don't report it! I'm trying my hardest. Honestly. Ainsley Harriet Flap Challenge. The internet is a weird place. Anyway, so we'll have more of them coming soon, but I guess there's someone over there. That's honestly what it's Ainsley Harriet Flap Challenge. Well, enough of that. Anyway, okay, are we ready for my next act of the evening? Awesome, well I'm going to need another cheerleader. Not spoken to you yet, so you sir, what's your name? Chris, nice to meet you, Chris. You're going to be my cheerleader. Would you like a party popper? Yes. Everything's always better with a party popper. I think it was Confucius who said that. Okay, so, going to stick with the New Year's theme, you know, I think that's going pretty well. So, it's midnight. It's getting close. Well, it's not midnight, it's getting close to midnight, that's the point. New Year's Eve, we're all a bit drunk, anything could happen. Thank you. Okay, so you all ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Mr. Jim Buxton.
To be honest, even if it wasn't working, I probably would have held the mic anyway. I'm very in touch with my hunting gathering instincts, and it comforts me to have a tool in my hand. So, some of you may not know this, but there was once this time called the 80s, right? Now, I've never been there, but my parents have. They lived there for about 10 years. So they knew Margaret Thatcher. Well, could anyone really be said to have known that? And living under her reign, it had quite an impact on their life. And it came across in my childhood. You see, my parents were never very religious, so Thatcher filled a role akin to that of Satan. You know, the charismatic yet intimidating figure who espouses ideals and ways of life that sound quite tempting, but that you should probably steer well clear of. There were other ways she manifested in my upbringing. They'd use her to teach me important life lessons, like if you don't share your toys, you'll develop the perfect personality to thrive in this grossly unjust capitalist society. Or, if you don't eat your greens, 1984 will happen. I couldn't kiss anyone for years because I thought I'd start the Falklands War. Speaking of things that used to be cool, like the 80s, the government is still trying to stop people smoking. And clearly, it's just not working. And I've thought about this, and I think what they need to do to stop people is to just tell lies. Outright, brazen lies, and if they tell enough of them, eventually people will start to believe them. It's like talking to kids, except with the impending sense of death. And I've got a few examples here. If you smoke a cigarette, there is a 99% chance you will die. Everyone else has just been incredibly lucky. Kevin Costner's Waterworld is a scientifically accurate portrayal of a world in which people didn't stop smoking. Smoking is also the blame for Kevin Costner's Waterworld. Now, sensitive viewers in the audience may wish to turn away. This is a stock photo of a man before he started smoking. And this is what he looks like now. This man was married with 3 kids. And this is him today. Who could love him now? Shocking. Now, people are always talking about how we should learn from the past and about the good old days, and I've been trying to work out just when these good old days are. I'm thinking maybe mid to late Cretaceous? Dinosaurs. They had it right. They basically had the world's only fully functioning meritocracy. If you were good at biting, you got fed. If you didn't protect your eggs got ate. And if you're a small mammal, you run and you hide. Until the asteroid came along and effed it all up, that is. The asteroid is basically the man. It's the asteroid's fault that we can't put a pterodactyl in the White House. A velociraptor can't make it big on Broadway. Damn asteroid. Who's to say that just because a Tyrannosaurus Rex has weird, tiny arms, he can't fulfill his dream of starting a trendy, upmarket vegetarian cafe? Speaking of things that are really old that you'd hate to find filling a theme park, I've got a few poems with the Bible. It's just not that reliable, is it? I mean, you've got all these stories about the incredible things that Jesus did, but they're all from his mates, his disciples. How do we know it's not just one of those, my Messiah's better than your Messiah scenarios? My Messiah can turn water into wine. My Messiah can walk on water and wine. My Messiah can cure paralysis. My Messiah can shoot lasers from his eyes. My Messiah is literally the Son of God. Alright, fair play, mate. Now, what we need is a portrayal of events from the other side. We've got the Gospel of Mark and the Gospel of Luke. What we need is the Gospel of Judas. And I'm talking about something written by the guy himself, not some Jesus fanboy Gnostics. All I'm saying is that maybe it wasn't just about the 30 pieces of silver. Maybe if we saw his side of events, they'd tell a different story. Monday. Today, Jesus Christ turned my bottle of Evian into a bad claret. He could have just gone to the shops. Tuesday. Jesus made a blind man see today. Meh. Wednesday. Had supper with Jesus and a couple of mates today. The bugger only went and forgot the fish. But it's okay, because God's his dad. Miracle, my ass. Thursday. I was chatting to this guy called Pontius Pilate today. He seems like a nice bloke. Friday. Sunday. See? You just came back! What's so annoyed at me for? Now, did you know there was more than one guy called Judas in the Apostles? I mean, imagine being that guy, right? It's a name that's been soured by one particular individual. It's like being lesser-known German humanitarian and puppy cuddler, Alan Hitler. Speaking about the unjust persecution of a well-meaning individual, I had my first altercation on public transport the other day. Picture the scene. It's a crowded bus, all the seats are taken, and people are lining up down the middle. It's been a bumpy ride, and I've already seen a fair few strangers accidentally caress one another. An older couple gets on board, and as is the done thing, I offer the woman my seat. To my surprise and dismay, she declines, saying something along the lines of, "Oh, don't worry, you're all right, love." The bus comes to its hardest stop yet. The passengers visibly sway as the world begins to slow. The old woman starts to topple backwards, her hands reaching for the bus poles. They find no coaches. Instinctively, I reach out my arms in a vague attempt to stop her descent. My hand finds her bag. She releases. There is a thump. So, essentially, instead of being the hero of the day who saved the lady from a potentially nasty spinal injury, I'm the guy who took an old woman's handbag as she fell to the floor. Fortunately, she didn't bang her head and she began to rise again. Not like that. It was then that a passenger approached me and started using no small number of rude words. He may have been talking to the passengers either side of me as well, but in that moment, it definitely felt like he was asking me why I hadn't offered her my fucking seat. It was as if he'd asked me why I pushed her to the ground, hog-tied her arms and legs together, and tried to shove her out of one of those tiny windows. Admittedly, if I had done that, he might have been right to critique me. So here was my dilemma, folks. I'm standing in front of a bus full of strangers, being accused of not doing something that I did in fact do, whilst an old woman whimpers on the floor. I'm exaggerating for effect. Now, I'm actually quite a tender soul. I was way out of my comfort zone. I did manage to stifle a soft, but I did offer her my seat. She said she didn't want it, which is better than such sheer silence, I suppose, bearing in mind I was still holding her handbag. What was I supposed to do? Stand up, chest out, stare the guy down and say, "Actually, I did offer her my seat. If anyone's a fucking idiot around here, it's her." Inferior dexterity. But I didn't do that. And I think I maintained the moral high ground for it. And everyone on that bus knew it, even if none of them backed me up. Bastards. So, I emerged from the bus, safe in the knowledge that I was a good person. And then I torched the lot of them and went about my day. Thank you, I've been Jim Huckster, and if you're a small mammal, run and hide.
Another time for Jim Huckster, everybody! Okay, let's plow through these. Become the Kaiser of the Holy Roman Empire. Doesn't exist anymore, does it? Unless you mean like the mafia or something, which is kind of cool. Survived to 2016, at least. So you could at least survive, or you couldn't, you know. I know, that's a very pessimistic one, I'm feeling. Devour the sun. We've all been there. Just looking up like, ooh, you know what could go for? Wasps? And it is posed as a question. Yeah, wasps, yes. So the thing about wasps is, they sting. Kill a shark. Well, animal related. Somebody wants to raise a dog, and this guy wants to kill a shark. So, I'd like to know his methodology. Probably a big knife, yes. Waterproof knife, so it doesn't rust. Dave, are you planning to kill a shark anytime soon?
Yeah, I wrote that.
Awesome. It's good to know you're off there, everybody. Divine discipline. Yeah. So discipline through divinity. I don't fucking know. But apparently it's a goal. Because you gotta have dreams. I want to lose my virginity. I feel you, bro. I don't know if I can read this one. Growing out of my micro penis. This is very personal stuff, guys. I don't know if I'm qualified, you know. I don't know you all that well. You know. Hey, if you want to talk after the show, I'm always here. Okay, go through a few more and then get on with our final act. Stop being so damn awkward. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being awkward. Prove that Tom Clements loves dick. So Tom, do you love dick?
Well, no, not really. It's just quite an odd thing to write, really.
Whoever wrote that, you've got a bit of work to do. So, you know, just get going, get going. Again, you've got to have goals to keep you going in life. The Olympics. You're going to watch are the Olympics on in 2015? I'm not sure. I thought it was the 90s before, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask. Meet Tom Clements' mum. I think that was the same, but he's going to meet Tom Clements' mum to prove that Tom Clements loves dick.
No, because I wouldn't. I should say she's a lovely woman, yeah. I mean, I'd invite you. Yeah, cool. Oh, come and meet my mum. Oh, meet friends.
Try not to die for another year. Okay. So have you been trying not to die this year? Hopefully. Graduating. Again, another sensible one. I think you should graduate eventually. I think I will. Okay, last one. Just 2016. Just plowing through the years. Your goal for 2015 is 2016. Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, so who's ready for my final act of the evening? I said, who's ready for my final act of the evening? Make some noise! Yeah, someone's really enthusiastic. Okay, so who's going to be my final cheerleader for tonight? You, sir.
Me.
Yeah, hi, what's your name? Matthew, okay. You okay with my final cheerleader? Awesome. Do you want a party popper? Yeah, I give people the option. Okay, I think that's good. Do you want a party popper? Try not to blow Dave's head off. I know, we've all thought about it. Okay, so, same procedure as before. Let's get into midnight. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Good evening, Lancaster. How are we doing? Are we good?
Yeah.
Ooh, are we good?
Yeah.
There we go. Right, so I'll start off. I'll let you guys know a little about me. I'm a cycler.
I cycle. Now, I don't do this for the health benefits or for the feeling of moral superiority I have over you all right now. But I should mention I do have a feeling of moral superiority over you all right now, because as we all know, cyclists are the best of mankind. To the point that drug testing in the Olympics, it's almost a formality. Which is probably why it's so ineffective. Now, David Cameron, in the build-up to his election, of course, made a big point of the fact he cycles, but since he's become Prime Minister, has been found cycling through red lights. Which is fine for him, seeing as he doesn't have to deal with the strains of an overburdened NHS. Some might say he could do that on purpose, possibly to put further strain on the National Health Service, to add insult to injury, to injury. I cycle, yes, I was cycling to campus about 2 weeks ago. And I was actually cycling to the post office and I fell off my bike, I had an accident, I ended up in A&E. I think we all felt that little drop in the room. Some of you might be worried that the story might get a little bleak or a little dark. Don't worry, it will. But to ease you into the story, I'm going to start off with about 2 minutes of stand-up on pants. I love pants, me. I love pants. I love pants. In living memory, I have 3 memories of discarding old pants. The first was when I was 9 years old. I had a pair of Y-front Space Jam pants that I shat in as a toddler. They were cleaned afterwards, but over the course of 6 years, I went between forgetting about them and then thinking, oh, I remember those, I shat in them. And clearly, 9-year-old Edmund thought that that was enough 6 years. That's when the purge should begin. Second event was when I was 15 years old. I had a pair of boxers from when I was 15, like they were my first pair of boxers. But I've kind of grown significantly since then, to the point that they'd stretched out and that the button in the centre remained, but the fabric around it left all exposed, thus rendering them useless as pants. But still, as a 15-year-old, I was reluctant to throw them out, mainly as I thought if I saw a girl and she saw me in them, she might think, whoa, he's about ready to burst out of them. Which would pale in comparison to the reality of them going, why are you wearing tiny boxers? And the third occasion of me throwing out pants happened 2 weeks ago. I had a pair of pants from when I was 14. I'm 23 for reference. That's 9 years of dedicated service to the concealment of my crotch. But they were getting a bit old, a bit worn, and a few tears. But I did just wash them, so I decided one last treat would be to give them another night on the town, for old time's sake. So I'm cycling to campus to get to the post office. And I get there, it's a bit of a rush. And I just managed to get my sister's Christmas present sent off, because I sent it a bit late. And I turn to the guy and just say, oh, thanks mate, on my way out. And without a care for his job, apparently just goes, yep, hope it gets there. Right, it's your job to ensure that it does, right? I'm not paying for some canon-based service by which the present is flung into the wind to decide where it is delivered. Well, sir, there's no guarantees, really. I mean, it could be hit by a meteor tomorrow. When I bought those stamps, I had no idea I entered into an asteroid mitigating base contract. Well, sir, it appears that you did. Well, what if it does get hit by a meteor? How will I know? Well, sir, it's not an exact science, meteorology. I'm afraid you'll have to ring head office for that. So I left the post office defeated, and I began cycling back home. Now, I must mention, it was quite dark, and it was quite cold, and I wasn't wearing gloves. So I was finding it quite hard to grip the handlebar and the brakes. I was on the cycle path, and I was coming around the corner quite quickly, and I hit a rock, and I fell. And I was on the ground, much as you see me now, and I was in pain. But
the cruel act of fate was for my bike to go into a wall, and the bell made a little ding. Ding. Ask not for whom the bell tolls, Lancaster. It tolls for me. Do you ever wonder why You've Been Framed never had an aftershow?
It's because the sense of schadenfreude that you all displayed would be overwhelmed by the lack of empathy you all showed half an hour prior. So it was dark, I was quite cold, I had to walk myself home, bleeding and in pain for half an hour, shower off the dirt, and then walk another half hour to A&E. So I get there, and the nurse is she's very friendly about it. And I've got a graze on my leg, and it's kind of up the trousers, and she can't quite get it with the bandages. So she asks me to drop my trousers. And then I realised I was wearing my scraggly pants. She saw them. She saw them. And by the look on her face, she won't forget. In many ways, Lancaster, I am my pants. I'm frayed, I'm worn out, and I'm revealed to a stranger. But, you know, after a moment, her look of disgust kind of subsides, and it's sort of descends to a calm, and she looks at me, and she says, "Why are you wearing tiny pants?" Because we all grow up to be the things we fear as teenagers, Lancaster. I've been here, Colley. Thank you. Good night.
One more time for Mr. Ed Colley. Alright guys, give it a call outside, Mr. Ed Dearden. Tom Clements. Jim Hodgson. And Mr. Ed Colley. Okay, so we're going to have to wrap things up now. If you're interested in stuff we do, then just talk to any of the acts tonight or myself. If you're interested in joining or finding out about what we do, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter with Lancaster University Comedy Institute. You've been absolutely fantastic. Come back for 2 weeks for another County Comedy Club. Thank you.